Well, hey there, it's Brent Adams with Inside Farm Life. I'm back with another episode, and it's a big one. It's the Farm Progress Show preview, and you can check that out wherever you get your podcasts, or you can check it out right after this video here. A big week this week as we bring in Matt Jungmann, who is the show manager for the Farm Progress Show. He tells you everything you need to know if you're going to be there at the end of this month in Decatur, Illinois. Great to have that show back in person after going virtual in 2020. There's going to be a lot going on there in the field demos and equipment manufacturers who are going to be exhibiting, and all kinds of folks are going to be there. So I hope you go give that a listen. Also, we bring in our friends from AGCO, Belanger, who's the farm show manager, and Julie Ulbrich, who's the product manager. Talk about everything that the Massey Ferguson and Fendt brands are going to have at that show. So I hope you go give all that a listen. Then our buddy, the hot rod farmer, Ray Bohacz, is going to be along talking about fluid exchange. And are you doing it right? Well, I tell you what, Ray will tell you all about it. And so I hope you listen to that. Then we bring in true honky-tonker, Scott Southworth, a great singer-songwriter. He's got some great music. We got a great conversation and all of that great music. So I hope you go give all that a listen. And we've got a special live stream coming up this Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be Polly Ruland, who's the CEO of the United Soybean Board. She's going to be talking about all things soybean as we get into harvest season here and what they're doing to promote the industry. And she's got a lot of great insights. So that's going to be a live stream on the Facebook page and the YouTube channel on Monday. So make sure you're watching for that and be watching for all of our coverage from Farm Progress. We're going to have a mobile studio set up at the AGCO booth. And I want you to stop by, say hi. We'd love to meet you. Love to talk about what you're doing in your farming operation, and just to let you know a bit about what we have going on with Inside Farm Life. Well, I'm going to get on out of here and let you enjoy your day, but I hope you take Inside Farm Life with you. Again, please subscribe to that podcast. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Deezer, Audible, Odyssey, and YouTube. A lot of places to get that content, and we'd love for you to take us with you in the tractor, the combine, the truck, in the house, in the shop, wherever you are. We'd love for you to go with us. Again, we'll catch you at Farm Progress Show. We'll have more great content again next week, but for now, it's Brent Adams, Inside Farm Life, and I'm out.
For a more dependable, durable, and capable tractor, check out the lineup of high-horsepower Massey Ferguson equipment. The 7700 S Series tractor is loaded with features to increase your comfort and productivity. And if you run a dairy farm, the RB Series balers are built to handle everything your operation demands. Straightforward, dependable Massey Ferguson equipment. Visit masseyferguson.com to find out more.
Welcome to Inside Farm Life, your weekly connection to agriculture newsmakers, hot-button industry issues, educational features, and the best in true country music. Now, here's your host, Brent Adams.
Well, welcome to another episode of Inside Farm Life, presented by AGCO. We thank you for giving us some of your time this week. On this episode, Matt Jungmann, the manager of the Farm Progress Show, stops by to give us a preview of the 2021 show, which will take place at the end of this month in Decatur, Illinois. Then AGCO's Belanger and Julie Ulbrich are here to talk about what you can expect from AGCO at the Farm Progress Show. The hot rod farmer, Ray Bohacz, is talking about proper fluid replacement in this week's Bushels and Cents. And finally, we take things back to the country with a true honky-tonk artist, Scott Southworth. We can't wait to share all that with you, but first, some news. What will be the market effects of the current gradual downsizing of the beef cattle herd? This week, USDA Radio's Gary Crawford talked with USDA Chief Economist Seth Meyer and Outlook Board Chairman Mark Jekanowski to get their take.
The nation's beef cattle industry, buffeted last year by COVID-related slowdowns in processing, this year by rapidly rising feed costs, will be cutting back on the size of the herd. In fact, USDA Chief Economist Seth Meyer says the industry is
already in a contraction phase in the cattle cycle and maybe deeper than we expected.
And so for this year, USDA cutting its previous projections for beef output by 30 million pounds down to about 27.9 billion pounds. But next year, production could fall to about 26.9 billion.
Which is why in this report you saw some support for cattle prices.
And indeed, USDA Outlook Board Chairman Mark Jekanowski says his analysts raised this year's forecast for average steer prices by $2 a hundredweight up to $121.18.
And for 2022, we raised it even further to $126.25 per hundredweight.
So a 3% drop from this year in beef production, bringing a 4% hike in cattle prices next year.
And while Gary Crawford had Mark Jekanowski, he also asked him about the state of milk prices. Dairy operators are getting the benefits of the Dairy Margin Coverage Program this year and may do so again in 2022.
Because of the rising cost of feed compared to the prices for milk, the USDA's Dairy Margin Coverage Program has paid producers for 7 straight months now.
Yeah, and it's likely to continue.
USDA Outlook Board Chairman Mark Jekanowski says in general, milk and dairy product prices have not come up to previous expectations.
What we've been observing lately is just relatively weak demand for dairy products, high stocks, especially of butter, but cheese as well. So that's hanging over the market.
So Mark and his team have reduced their price forecasts for dairy. Now for this year, they've cut their forecast for the all milk price by 35 cents a hundredweight to $17.95. Now for 2022, originally USDA had milk prices going a bit higher than $17.95, but not anymore.
We're forecasting $17.85 per hundredweight.
Lost another dime there. Yet next year's milk production expected to top this year by 3 billion pounds, or a bit over 1%. But feed prices could go up by 20 to 30%. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Also this week, the latest topsoil moisture numbers show prevalent dryness in the northwestern half of the country, but some welcome relief may be coming soon to some parts of the country, courtesy of the next tropical weather maker. USDA Radio's Stephanie Ho has more.
Topsoil moisture for the week ending August 15th was nearly identical to a week ago.
No change in the very short to short number from the previous week. We're still at 52%. Meanwhile, surplus topsoil moisture across the country, only 4%. That is down 1 percentage point from the previous week.
USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says dryness is prevalent across the northwestern half of the country.
Leading the nation in topsoil moisture very short to short is Montana, coming in this week at 98%, closely followed by Washington State, 97%. Other states at or above 90% very short to short include Oregon and the Dakotas.
California and Minnesota both are more than 80% very short to short.
It's turned a bit dry in Arkansas, 68% very short to short. Then in the Mid-Atlantic, where we expect some improvement next week as Fred moves through, we have a couple of numbers above 50%, both in Virginia and West Virginia.
This is Stephanie Ho for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
And finally this week, as artificial intelligence continues to play a greater role in the future of agriculture, the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture has entered into a partnership with AI research institutes across the country. USDA Radio's Rod Bain explains.
Future innovation in agriculture may have an advancement assist soon via AI. Artificial intelligence.
That's really going to be able to speed our ability to meet the critical needs of the future, our agricultural workforce, providing equitable and fair market access, as well as increasing nutrition security and providing tools for climate-smart agriculture.
And USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture Administrator Carrie Castile believes to that end, ongoing development of National Science Foundation-led AI research institutes will play a significant role in crafting farm and food-based innovations. NIFA is among the public and private partners involved in developing these institutes.
We recently announced our commitment and our $220 million investment in 11 new artificial intelligence research institutes. There's a couple of them that we've supported through NIFA.
2 institutes specifically focused on agriculture. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
And now, what is your goat saying? That is a pretty sweet shirt you got on there. Did you get that from GoatLifeClothing.com? Very humorous and stylish. No, you cannot eat this shirt. I know it looks tasty. GoatLifeClothing.com.
Well, next up on Inside Farm Life, the Farm Progress Show is slated for Tuesday, August 31st through Thursday, September 2nd in Decatur, Illinois. And boy, it's going to be great to be back in person to the nation's largest outdoor farm event. So today we wanted to bring in the show's manager, Matt Jungmann, to tell us all about what to expect from this year's show. And Matt, welcome into Inside Farm Life.
Glad to be with you. Glad to be with you, Brent.
Well, Matt, the wait is nearly over. Last year's show went virtual as a result of the pandemic, and the show rotates every year between Decatur and Boone, Iowa. So because of contractual commitments, you couldn't just head back to Boone this year. You had to keep the rotating schedule on track. So we'll reconvene where we last met in Decatur, Illinois. First of all, How excited are you for this show to return in person?
Very excited. You know, we did the best we could with the situation we had last year with COVID having to cancel, but really excited to be back. And you know, it's a bit of a family reunion as we start to build this thing. When the tent companies and electricians and landscapers and folks show up, which is the kind of work that's going on right now, and looking forward to another set of family reunions as the exhibitors start to show up and set their exhibits and tune their equipment and get it ready to display to the big crowd that we're expecting this year.
And you and the rest of the folks at Farm Progress did a great job of adjusting on the fly and operating in uncharted territory with the virtual show last year. Was there anything you learned through that experience that you can apply to the live show, or are they just two totally different animals?
Well, they're two different animals, but we certainly did learn a lot. You know, we kind of threw everything at it and did the best we could in with some very tight turnarounds, and you know, kind of learned how farmers want to do things online and what they don't want to do online. And they're certainly willing to learn things and research things, but they really don't like a virtual trade show. They want to literally kick the tires, talk to the experts, and kind of have that personal interaction and learning when you're standing there next to an expert able to ask questions about the latest in technology. And you know, there's 2 years worth of product introductions and new technology that basically nobody's seen in person. And so, you know, certainly probably more than ever, there's more new things to see in person than ever before.
Well, and that's a great point because, you know, the industry didn't just stop. These guys have been creating and rolling out products for the past couple of years, and now they want to get back in front of farmers and ranchers and show all these, and they're proud of what they got here. So this is a great opportunity for them to kind of reconnect.
Yeah, it is. And you know, whether it's new things that are going to have the curtain lifted at 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning, or it's things that folks just haven't seen in person. You know, not very many folks have seen the 8RX stuff from John Deere, or the new Gator, or the X9 Combine, or the new cab on the Steiger from Case IH, or you know, there's those lifting the curtain kind of events like you're going to have with New Holland's new tractor and a new updated Delta Track from Versatile, and all kinds of new things from Fendt, the Rogator. You know, those are the kind of North American or global unveilings that occur that usually catch the headlines, but there's going to be something new to see on about every lot on the show.
And as we said earlier, for quite some time, this has been the nation's largest outdoor farm event. How many attendees were there at the last in-person show in 2019?
I believe that number was 182,000. We had good weather in 2019. You know, we didn't know it would be the last one for 2 years. So we kind of, you know, our last time in Decatur, it was a really good show. We got way into the overflow parking. And, you know, considering that was a very successful event, to now, you know, have sold out of golf carts earlier than we did in 2019 and have advanced tickets pacing ahead of what they did in 2019, we're really excited about what this show could be this year.
Well, how many exhibitors do you anticipate for this year as we stand right now, and how does that stack up with years past?
So that number is about 450, and honestly, that's down just a little bit. Primarily, that's overseas companies that, because of travel restrictions or shipping problems or inventory problems, they weren't able to attend the show for some reason. I mean, all the big ones that you've come to expect are all there, but you know, it might be a manure spreader company out of Canada that just couldn't get their ducks in a row in time to get across the border to make it to the show. So it's still going to be, you know, everybody you expect, but it's probably down a little bit just based on some international issues with COVID. And I expect the same thing with visitors. I expect that while typically we get a big international influx of visitors, I don't think we'll have that this year. It'll be primarily a domestic show, but that's fine. You know, we're just thrilled to be able to put on a great show like we're going to have this year, and you know, we'll bring the international folks back next year.
And as you alluded to earlier, most of the manufacturers save up their product rollouts for the next model year to unveil at the show. And you can talk with manufacturers, reps, as well as agronomists, livestock experts, representatives of the seed and input companies, insurers, and so many more. Matt, what are some of the additions to this year's show?
One of the big additions one of the big technology steps that's made a big step forward in the last 2 years is autonomy. We're dedicating an entire area of the field demonstrations to autonomous machines. So all day long, you're going to be able to see the two platforms from Raven, what used to be called the Auto Cart, which is now the Omni Drive. and then what used to be called DOT, which is an autonomous platform that carries several different tools under it, and that's called the Omni Power. In addition to that, you're going to have sprayer drones from Rantizo and just a lot of activity in that autonomous area. And what's kind of cool about that is that when it comes time to do the harvest demonstration, the Omni Drive, the auto cart, is going to pull out of the autonomous area and run in the regular corn harvesting demonstration. And then when that demo's over, it'll go back and continue to run throughout the day. So, I'd say in addition to all the new product rollouts, that all that autonomous stuff, it's not necessarily something you can ride and drive, get in the cabin experience. It's more of a standoff to the side and do a hands-off demo of what this autonomous machinery and how it works.
Well, and you bring up a great point there, because field demonstrations are always a big highlight here at the Farm Progress Show. In addition to the autonomous stuff, what else can attendees expect to see in the fields this year at Farm Progress?
Well, the corn is doing great. It went in on time. It's had a good year, good rains. We backed the maturity up a little bit, so it's already black, approaching black layer right now, which is just about perfect. It's going to have about 2 weeks, 10 days to dry down and be 24% corn for the harvest demonstrations. And, a lot of head companies. We've got some new corn head companies, new auger carts being unveiled out there in the demos, new tillage tools, strip till. We've got a brand new exhibitor, Ag Guru, that's going to be running out there. Just about everything you'd need to know for a corn and soybean farm is going to be on display there at the show.
And I understand tiling is going to be another big portion of this year.
That's exactly right. We're on a long-term program to pattern tile all the field demo acres, doing the last 30 acres of that program this year. Every day at noon, they'll run that. That's a great partnership with the Illinois Land Improvement Contractors Association. And so get an opportunity to see, some of the latest in drainage technology being installed right there at the show, right outside of the main gate or the field demo gate.
Well, another interesting visual the folks attending the show can watch this year is seeing a building going up in real time. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's a great partnership with FBI Buildings. They've come up with a new way to build a pole barn, kind of an innovative way, the latest or the biggest advancement in pole barn construction since the pole was invented. They're building the roof structure on the ground and with the walls hinged out to the sides, which makes it a lot safer, makes it a lot more weather ready. If you get a storm during the building process, it can be pretty devastating to the structure. They build that all on the ground, and then using hydraulics, jack the building up in place, and the walls swing into place underneath it. Allows you to do all the guttering and wiring and a lot of those kind of things on the ground, which is a lot safer. And to demonstrate that, they're going to jack that building up and put it down and up and down all the way through the show so that you can kind of get a feel for how that system works and how it might apply on your operation.
Some really fascinating stuff to watch there. And I tell you what, this show is all about the farmer. And one of the neat things Farm Progress does every year is recognize the outstanding work of farmers through the Master Farmers Program. And this year will be no different, except for the fact that you're going to be doing it right there on the grounds this year.
Yeah, it's a great fit. It's a great program that's been going on with Prairie Farmer for a very long time. And we've just never done it at the show. And because of some scheduling conflicts and COVID and everything else, we weren't able to recognize the 2020 Master Farmers. And so we're using this opportunity to recognize the 2020 Prairie Farmer Master Farmers as well as the 2021 class. And that's gonna take the stage on Thursday. A lot of activity there in that hospitality building. Max Armstrong's noon show is going to be there. A lot of politicians, some congressional listening sessions, just a lot of activity on that stage all 3 days of the show.
Absolutely. So make sure you can get out there and check out our friend Max, save a little time for that. I want to talk about show logistics for a moment. When did work begin on putting the pieces together for this 2021 in-person show? And about how many people do you have working on it from your staff to make sure that it runs smoothly?
That kind of ramps up. It ramps up through the summer. So Rick Wild, our operations manager, he gets on site full time right after July 4th, starts staking things out. The tent companies start coming in and the landscapers and electricians come in and get to work through the month of July. And it starts out with Rick, and then he brings on a couple more people, and then right about now, here in the middle of August, it sort of takes a hockey stick curve, and it starts to increase exponentially as we approach the show. By the time we're up and running, we'll have 50 or 60 of our staff there, not counting all the folks it takes to work the food stands and park the cars and do the admissions. That's a lot of the volunteers from the Decatur and Macon County region come in, and we're going to have 1,000 people working on the show, on actually just making the show happen. And a lot of that is those volunteers there locally that are able to make it happen.
And there is so much to see and do at this show here. What do attendees need to know to make sure that they allow themselves plenty of time and they get the most out of their show experience?
Yeah, we talked about the staff it takes. We've had a little bit of a challenge getting enough volunteers to do it, so I'd ask everybody to be patient as they approach the parking lot, and there will probably be some lines coming in and that kind of thing. One of the big things folks can do to speed their entry to the show is go to farmprogressshow.com and buy your ticket in advance. You get it at a discount. And we've been asked to get the contact info for people that come to the show. So the fastest way to do that is for folks to buy that advance ticket rather than filling out a form as you approach the gate. So if you buy your advance ticket, the big three things would be to buy that advance ticket, check the website so that you've got the schedule down, and then also take a look at the map. And it's a big place, 4 million square feet of exhibit field. So that's a big place. You don't want to backtrack. You kind of want to set a plan and make sure you hit everything that you want to hit and get your plan laid out ahead of time.
And just to stress, be patient with these folks when you show up here, because we're just getting back into the swing of things. There's a lot to see and do. There's a lot of people that are going to be showing up, and a lot of them show up all at once, especially in the morning. So pack your patience. And just be ready to go with the flow, I think, is the biggest thing that you can say about that.
I would totally agree with everything you just said. Pack your patience is one of our quotes that we use around the farm here. And so, we haven't done this for 2 years. So Tuesday, we're going to knock the rust off of it. And by Wednesday, we'll be real good at it.
And that's all provided that it'll be the sun shining and a beautiful day there in Decatur. And hopefully it will. We're going to pray for that. But you never know. So again, just be patient. I know one thing that a lot of attendees and exhibitors are going to be concerned about here. We want to make sure we address it. What is Farm Progress doing to make sure that this is going to be a safe show? Because I know COVID is still a big concern.
Yeah, and that's an ever-changing thing. We can only speak to, if the show opened today, here's what we do. We've got plans A through Z, but we're obviously following CDC recommendations. So anytime you're indoors, CDC recommends that folks, whether you're vaccinated or not, wear a mask, and obviously we're going to reinforce that and recommend that if you're inside, and the way the health department there locally summed it up for me is that if you wouldn't smoke a cigarette inside something, then you probably ought to be wearing a mask in there, but when you're outdoors, which most of that show site and most of the event is obviously outdoors, we're not obviously going to be mandating any masks. I say that's the rules today. We'll just kind of be rolling with the punches as the rules may change over the course of the next 2 weeks. But with it mostly being an outdoor event, we feel very confident that we're going to be able to have a show, and we'll just kind of deal with whatever changes come at us as they come. The event was already pretty COVID ready. The way we did our food service, there weren't any buffets. The way, we obviously we can social distance pretty easily and inside there, but we're doing extra sanitation in places where folks gather, info booths, food service, restrooms, kind of those type of places. But again, I would just kind of reinforce what the CDC's asked, that if you're in it, or if you're not feeling well, don't come to the show. If all those recommendations that the CDC makes, we're just going to back that up.
When you guys are kind of at the mercy of the county health department there and what their latest recommendations are, and I know this is going to be a fluid situation, so if folks want more up-to-the-minute information leading up to the show, where can they go to get that?
Yeah, farmprogressshow.com. We're going to keep that updated. We also have all the social channels. If you want to follow us on Twitter or Facebook, we're keeping all those places updated with any of the latest. Right now, there isn't really any new news to state because there haven't been any mandates or anything put in place. We're just kind of continuing to follow what's been a pretty standard guidance thus far, with the change of a couple weeks ago, that if you're indoors, you probably ought to be wearing a mask.
Well, I tell you what, Matt, this is one of the nation's great farm shows, and one that we circle on our calendars, the start of the busy fall season of farm shows, conferences, and conventions. And what a way to kick it off. It's like NASCAR starting things off every year with the Daytona 500. Very well-run show, and we're really looking forward to getting back there at the end of the month for the great Farm Progress Show. And Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on Inside Farm Life.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me, Brent.
And again, we've been speaking with Matt Jungmann, the show manager for the Farm Progress Show. Like a championship caliber baseball team, your fungicide has to be tough, and Concept Agritech has the solution many of America's top growers trust. BioAid is an EPA-registered fungicide that delivers an initial contact kill of a wide range of fungal pests and is safe to the user and the environment. To find out more about how BioAid can help you increase your yields and deliver a higher return on investment, visit conceptagritech.com. Concept Agritech, technology where you need it most. Well, next up on Inside Farm Life, you just heard Matt Jungmann say that all of the big exhibitors you would expect to see at the Farm Progress Show will be there here in 2021, and that includes our friends at AGCO, who always bring a big presence to the Farm Progress Show. So today we wanted to welcome in Aaron Belanger, the Farm Show Manager, and Julie Ulbrich, the Brand Marketing Manager for AGCO, to talk about what you'll see from the company and its brands at the Farm Progress Show. And Aaron and Julie, welcome in to Inside Farm Life.
Thanks, Brent. Good to talk to you again, as usual.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Oh, well, Aaron, it's never too hard to spot the AGCO setup at Farm Progress Show. You've got a big presence there. First of all, tell us what goes into designing that space and what it'll look like here at this year's Farm Progress Show.
So, yeah, we probably have the tallest kind of display, the biggest, hopefully, structures that are there. We start a good 6 months to a year out. If you were lucky enough to come see us in 2019, we've actually expanded the giant truss work that we had there to include a second 40-foot by 30-foot LED wall to support the Massey Ferguson brand. Last time we supported Fendt with that giant screen. This year they've got a Fendt One trailer experience and a smaller screen, but again, we've doubled almost the size of the truss structure in the center of the booth that's showing video content to the consumers of all our products.
So when folks sit down to design this, what kind of things are in mind and who's around that table?
So we get together with the different brand managers. We get together with our exhibit company. We get together with a couple people that have been what I would call legacy people with AGCO since the early 90s. And we talk about, what we have now and kind of where we're going. What you've seen us transition from in the last decade was essentially a parking lot with as much equipment jammed in as we possibly could and a million brands, to a farm that we actually grew crops. If you recall, we did that for about 5 or 6 years. We actually grew crops in our lot, which was harder than you can imagine in such a confined space, but we did it to show all 4 growing seasons and again to highlight how we have kind of the planting to harvest line of equipment. Now we are focusing on more of a 2-brand strategy, and we've kind of filtered some of those brands out and rebranded them. So now you'll see almost 2 different areas of the lot, one dedicated primarily to the Fendt brand and the other dedicated to Massey Ferguson and some of our other sub-brands. And, kind of my big approach to this is I want people to feel like they can come into the booth to approach us. We know they're going to come and see tractor after tractor after tractor. What can I do to make that experience different, or what can I do to make them want to come see our tractor instead of just another color of a tractor sitting there?
Let's talk a bit about the logistics of bringing the show set up to Decatur. About how many people roughly does it take to get the show set up and going, and how long does that whole process take?
So we had, as they say, boots on the ground August 10th. So start out with 2 guys, and by next weekend, which would be August 23rd, there will be about 13 setup people. We have over probably 30, 40 loads of equipment that come in, about 10 semi-trailers full of displays, truss structure, TVs, you name it. So logistics is, I would say, a month-long process beginning to end. The ground, has to be prepared all the way up to all these giant structures constructed and banners hung and you name it. It's in my mind, it's equivalent to building a house. I mean, you've got the base of a structure all the way up to the roof sometimes.
And Aaron, what will Farm Progress Show attendees see at the AGCO booth at this year's Farm Progress Show?
We've done lots of experimentation, I would say, over the years with some experiences. We have a backhoe challenge, which is really a simple game. We put a person on one of our smallest tractors. They operate a backhoe to try and accomplish a couple simple tasks. But it's great to watch. It's exciting. It gathers this huge crowd. It's just something that maybe someone won't get to normally do, so they want to partake in it. But we found that's a really good way to bring people and build excitement for that brand. We also have this year, out in the field demo, there is a ride and drive section. We've done something really unique out there. We're going to bring in a pulling sled.
Oh, wow. So
we have our new Massey Ferguson 8S, which I'll tell you a little bit more in a second. That is coming and we hook to a sled. If you are a tractor driver, unfortunately, if you've never driven a tractor, we can't let you partake in this. But if you drive a tractor, you can come out and actually pull that sled with that new Massey Ferguson 8S. We'll vary the load, and you can see how that new performance and shifting and transmission technology works live right there at the ride and drive area. We also have a RG900 rogator that's going to be also in that ride and drive. That is our newest application piece of equipment. It not only extends out left to right, but also raises up and down. So that is one of the latest and greatest technology that's out there.
Well, new product rollouts are always an important part of this show for manufacturers, and this year AGCO is doing it up big with some exciting new products. What will you showcase this year in Decatur?
If you're lucky enough to make it out the show this year, you're going to see the North American launch of 4 different products from AGCO. We have the Massey Ferguson 8S, the Massey Ferguson 5S, the Fendt 300, and also kind of our pride and joy this year is going to be RG900 application equipment. Those are going to feature the Fendt 1 cab, which we have a really nice trailer display on that, and it highlights a lot of the new technology that you're going to see in Fendt and with our Fuse brand. I brought Julie here from Duluth to talk to you also about kind of the experience you have for technology that we're going to have on the display this year.
And Julie, technology is a big driver behind this new equipment and the precision ag movement. And AGCO will put its latest technology front and center in a big way at the Farm Progress Show.
Yeah, so the Fuse Smart Farming team at Farm Progress Show, we are going to be in the shade under the awning of the big GSI grain bin. You can't miss that. We're AGCO's precision agriculture brand, and you'll see tech, like Aaron said, on the machines when you go to look at those, but we have our own area to focus a bit more on the precision ag topics. So technology can be really abstract, and we wanted folks to be able to experience that in a more practical way. So we're doing the stage show format there under the awning to try to translate those benefits and trends in a practical, engaging, and hopefully entertaining way. So each day from 9 to 4 on the hour, we're going to be talking about some of the hottest topics in ag. So targeted spraying, carbon management, equipment autonomy. Our AGCO agronomy team is going to launch volume 2 of their research book, which contains over 30 field trials from around the world. We'll be giving away 100 copies of that. We also have our team of precision farming experts that run our precision ag line, or as we call it, PAL. These guys help thousands of farmers a year over the phone with their mixed fleet precision ag. And they've just got an incredibly good way of troubleshooting just about anything precision farming related. So we've got them there to help folks running mixed fleets in particular, because that can be tricky with sharing guidance lines and FMIS data among multiple brands. And then, as Aaron said, as far as the brands, we've got some really cool technology in the Fendt area. In the trailer, folks can experience the Fendt 1 user interface. And then, like Aaron said, Massey Ferguson is launching some new connected tractors at the show. And so we'll have a display in their area so folks can experience the Datatronic 5 terminal without hopping in the cab, but feel free to do that too. So we hope you'll come and see AGCO's Fuse Smart Farming team at the show, listen for a bit to some of the agronomy and tech talks. And if you've got any precision farming questions, we'd love to answer those for you.
Well, precision farming just continues to get bigger and bigger every year and more complex. And I know a lot of people will come with a lot of questions, and that time alone is worth the price of admission. So hope people go and check that out. Julie, what takeaways will you hope that Farm Progress attendees leave this year's AGCO booth with?
I hope they leave with a plan to and an understanding of how they can really leverage technology to do more on their farm.
Well, Aaron, one of the big draws each year at the AGCO booth is merchandise. And again, this year, you'll have opportunities for attendees to purchase wearables and collectibles from their favorite AGCO brands.
Yep, we see a lot of people come back year after year to get their version, if there's a special version this year of a tractor or a piece of equipment. What's unique this year is we've actually divided the merchandise into two areas. We'll have one at the grain bin, which will be primarily devoted to Fendt. And then the second, we'll have what we usually have in a tent out by the Massey Ferguson area. That will have Massey Ferguson, Gleaner, Oliver, some of our other legacy brands. We really try and bring a huge selection to the show. Almost everything that you see online, you can pick up, touch, and feel, and decide if it's something that you want to take home after the show.
And for those who can't attend the Farm Progress Show, there's always AGCOvirtualshowroom.com, which features a virtual product showroom for AGCO's vast lineup. Aaron, what does that online platform look like now? How does it continue to grow and evolve, and what can folks find when they stop by there?
Well, we keep adding products almost on a monthly basis. Again, if you are lucky enough to come to Farm Progress, you are going to see the latest and greatest. It still does take us time to put those products and do the proper photography. It's again, very detailed 360-degree photography that we do before we launch those onto the virtual site.
Well, it's certainly a great alternative for the folks who can't make it to the Farm Progress Show. But if you can, don't forget the Farm Progress Show will be held Tuesday, August 31st through Thursday, September 2nd in Decatur, Illinois. And AGCO will be in lot 333, which is between 2nd Progress Street and 3rd Progress Street, bound by Central Progress and East Progress. So stop by and see them. And Aaron and Julie, thank you so much for joining us on Inside Farm Life and taking the time to get us up to speed on AGCO at the Farm Progress Show.
You're welcome, Brent, and we can't wait to see you there too at the show.
Again, we've been talking with Aaron Belanger, the Farm Show Manager, and Julie Ulbrich, the Brand Marketing Manager for AGCO. And you can stop by and catch Inside Farm Life at the AGCO booth at the Farm Progress Show. We'll have a mobile studio set up, and I'll be there conducting interviews throughout the show. So please stop by and say hi, won't you?
Headed to the Farm Progress Show? Stop by the Massey Ferguson and Fendt booths to see some exciting new equipment on display. Experience the future of farming with the Fendt One Cab. Get up close with Fendt's all-new adjustable clearance sprayer, the Fendt Rogator 900. And best of all, witness the North American debut of the Fendt 300, Massey Ferguson 8S, and 5S tractors. Come say hello to your friends at Massey Ferguson and Fendt at the Farm Progress Show, August 31st to September 2nd.
Well, next up on Inside Farm Life, are you draining enough fluid from your farm equipment before you add the new fluid? In this installment of Bushels and Cents, the hot rod farmer Ray Bohacz has an important tip to make sure you're operating with the cleanest fluids possible.
Welcome to Bushels and Cents from Farm Machinery Digest Radio, heard exclusively on Sirius XM Channel 147 Rural Radio. I am your host, Ray Bohacz, the hot rod farmer. And never forget, it is not what you make, but what you keep that counts. Many fluid-based systems do not fully drain when being renewed, notably engine coolant, hydraulic fluid, and an automatic transmission. This results in the old and spent fluid being mixed with fresh. Confirm the system capacity and compare that to the amount of fluid you installed. If the amount is less than 80% of the capacity, you will need to drain and refill again. This could be done at that time or put some use or hours on the machine and then drain and fill again. Agriculture runs on machinery, profits on reliability. Visit farmmachinerydigest.com, where steel and soil meet.
And as always, you can check out all of Ray Bohacz's great multimedia content at farmmachinerydigest.com. You can also hear him host Farm Machinery Digest Radio on SiriusXM Satellite Radio, Rural Radio, Channel 147. It airs each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern and again on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern, so I hope you go and give him a listen. Gateway Seed Company was founded in 1997 on a simple principle. It doesn't start with the seed, it starts with the farmer. We pride ourselves in doing all we can to understand our customers' farming operations. We take the time to listen to their concerns, then focus on providing a solution to address their specific needs. Gateway Seed offers seed corn with trait packages from Bayer and soybeans with trait packages from Bayer, Corteva, and BASF. To learn more about how Gateway Seed can boost your yields and increase your return on investment, visit gatewayseed.com. Well, with the business out of the way, now it's time to take things back to the country. And this week, we catch up with honky-tonker Scott Southworth, who just released a video for his latest song, Brown Liquor. And we'll hear all about that. But first of all, Scott, welcome into Inside Farm Life. How you been?
Hey, man, how's it going?
It is going great, man, and it's good to catch up with you.
Yeah, man, you too. It's always good to chat with you, Brent, and hear about the goings-ons with your family and what's going on up north in Nashville. And I love it. And you keep your ear to the farm world, and I think that's wonderful. So I love chatting with you, man. What's new? What should we talk about?
Well, I tell you what, man, you've been continuing to enjoy the success of your 2020 release, These Old Bones, which has received critical acclaim from a number of sources, and you topped quite a few independent country music charts all around the world. How gratifying is it to see that music being so widely accepted?
It's crazy, Brent, just to, back, of course, when we were able to go tour over there, it's always been crazy to me when you have you're playing to an audience, a festival or something, and there's people up front that maybe don't speak English but are singing the words to your songs, and it's I love it, and it's always gratifying that anybody thinks anything of the music, and that there's so many folks around the world that still want to listen to traditional country music and are seeking out original traditional country and honky-tonk music. It's fantastic.
Well, we'll get into some of that new Scott Southworth music later in the show, but this week I want to kick things off with a classic from his album, The Last Honky-Tonk in Town. This is Whiskey Bottle on Inside Farm Life.
Whiskey Bottle, you're my only friend tonight. You and me can drink that woman off my mind. 80 proof is all I need to drown her memory. Whiskey Bottle, you're my only friend tonight. Well, she's everywhere I look, in all these rooms we once shared. She worked so hard to make this house our home. I took sweet love for granted. I never showed her how I cared. So tonight again, it's me drinking alone. Whiskey Bottle, you're my only friend tonight. You and me can drink that woman off my mind. 80 proof is all I need to drown her memory. Whiskey Bottle, you're my only friend tonight. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, I've got other friends and family. They keep calling on the phone. They're worried and they're wondering how I've been. Well, them calls all go unheard. I just want to talk about her, and that would only break my heart again. Whiskey Bottle, you're my only friend tonight. You and me can drink that woman off my mind. 80 proof is all I need to drown her memory. Whiskey Bottle, you're my only friend tonight. Whiskey Bottle, you're my only friend tonight. Whiskey Bottle, You're my only friend tonight.
Well, 3 years ago, around this time, you were touring Norway, and I know you've been eagerly anticipating the opportunity to get back to some international travel. What's the current situation there?
Well, the current situation is really the only way to do it is I'd have to quarantine for a couple weeks once I get there. And you know this. I work a day job too, so it doesn't make sense for me to spend 2 weeks in a hotel to play a show. I'd rather play several shows and travel around. You know what I mean?
Right.
So as it stands, I'm tentatively scheduled in Switzerland in April and May of next year, and then on the books for New Zealand in February of 23, and hopefully by then we can just be back full speed ahead and hugging necks and singing songs and couch surfing and traveling the way I like to travel.
I love it. And you continue to play in front of live audiences here in the States, and an exciting show was announced here just this week. On Saturday, September 11th, you'll join Daryl Dasher and Mark Allen Barnett for a show at the legendary Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, Tennessee. That's a great lineup, and I'd encourage folks that are going to want to get out there to get tickets early, because pretty much everything at the Bluebird sells out in pretty short order.
It'll sell out in a matter of seconds. Actually, but so what you do is they'll go on sale on the 6th. Tickets will at the Bluebird Cafe website, and you have to. They go on sale at 8 a.m. on the 6th of September, and the key is to get there around 7 a.m. on their website and get in the line, the digital line. They call it a queue. Get in the queue for those tickets. But yeah, that's coming up on the 11th. I'm super excited about that. It also happens to be the day that Daryl is releasing his brand new album, and I don't know if you got a chance to hear it yet, but Daryl Wayne Dasher has a new album coming out, and it's really, really great. It's on the Flaming Tortuga label, which is the label that I'm on as well. So I'm real proud to be doing the show with them. And if I may, the week after that, Brent, is going to be the first ever Duck River Indie Country Fest in Lewisburg, Tennessee.
Ooh.
And that's the 17th and the 18th of September down in Lewisburg at a cool little place called Flat Rock Farms. We have Ray Scott headlining Friday night. We have Leona Williams headlining on Saturday night. Dawson Siegel, Tim Waters, Daryl Wayne Dasher, Shelby Lee Lowe, Theron Jean, myself, Max Cole, Dustin Craig, Brenda Lynn Allen, Kari Phillips, Jason Howard, Scotty Morton. You know a bunch of these names.
Yes.
And more, several more. There's going to be acoustic music during the day, and then at 6 o'clock till 11 o'clock, there's going to be full band performances. And the last hour, well, the 17th, as you know, is Hank Sr.'s birthday, Hank Williams Sr. So Friday night jam will be all Hank songs, just an all-star. Everybody's there is going to jump on stage and sing Hank songs. And then Saturday is going to be just a classic country jam out, and it's going to be just a lot of fun. They'll have food trucks. There's going to be booths of people trying to sell their wares, and we'll have a little meet and greet area. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited about it.
People want to find out more information about that. Is there any place they can go to check that out?
Yeah, I would just Google Duck River Indie Country Fest, and there's a Facebook page. There's a website that's about to go live. So there's just Google Duck River Indie Country Fest, and you'll find it.
And speaking of ducks, you also recently returned to your beloved state of Oregon to play some shows. And I have to say, according to the analytics, we have one of our best followings on this show in the state of Oregon. Not sure why. Maybe they've got some sort of fan club there that I'm not aware of or something. But in any event, thank you to the fine folks of Oregon for supporting Inside Farm Life. What was it like being back there in your great state?
Well, it's always amazing to go back home, but Oregon there's a lot of country music fans in Oregon, and you got one of the biggest rodeos, the Pendleton Roundup, up there in northeastern Oregon. That's a huge deal up there. And I love going back, and I went back to, speaking of the Ducks, I went to Autzen Stadium and was looking around and actually snuck into the practice field and took a picture to my wife so she could see that I snuck in there. But nobody mistook me for a football player, I can tell you that.
You just took my next question off the table.
Nope. Nobody said a word to me, or they knew I was no trouble. But well, it's always good to go home. But you know what's interesting is because we were in Northern California, Central California, and then we went up to Oregon, and I came home when I drove home back to Tennessee. I came home from the airport, and I got home at about, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night, and I got out of the truck and I got onto our property, and there was the cicadas and the crickets and the frogs, and the air was thick, and it was humid and hot, and I felt so good. It felt so good I mean, I'll always love Oregon, but you know, we've been here for 17 years now, and it's home to us. It felt good to be back with all the critters.
Well, it's funny that Scott should mention critters because earlier this year he released a song with that title. Let's give it a listen now. This is Scott Southworth with Critters on Inside Farm Life.
A critter gonna crawl where it's dark and dank. Shrimp gonna boil, skunk gonna stink. Oh, hound dog gonna howl at the moon. Firefly light up every night in June. Critter gonna crawl and I'm gonna fall for you. A cricket gonna fiddle, froggy gonna croak, armadillo in the middle, a porcupine gonna poke. Well, you never seen a horse like a Tennessee stud. Catfish gonna swim Mississippi mud. Critter gonna crawl and I'm gonna fall for you. When it come to what happening between me and you, nature gonna do what nature gonna do. Moon gonna shine, planet gonna spin. Fox gonna sneak into a chicken pan. Fox gonna sneak in a chicken pan. Hey! Gonna do, moon gonna shine, planet gonna spin, fox gonna sneak into a chicken pan, fox gonna sneak in a chicken pan. Uno, dos, tres, snakey gonna hiss, a bumblebee gonna buzz, a skeeter gonna stick, when he's looking for the blood. Every moth gonna flutter to an open flame, love bug bite you, baby, never be the same. Critter gonna crawl and I'm gonna fall for you. I said every mouth gonna flutter to an open flame. Don't hate the player, baby, hate the game. Critter gonna crawl and I'm gonna fall for you. I said a critter gonna crawl and I'm gonna fall for you. Critter gonna crawl and I'm gonna fall. Head over heels. Woo! Come on, buddy!
Nothing like it. There's no question about that. One of the things I wanted to talk with you about, man, I know you're a student of songwriting and you love songwriting. What have you had a chance to do here lately? Have you had a chance to collaborate with other songwriters? And if so, what has come from that?
Yeah, I've been doing some co-writing, and who did I write with? Dennis Ledbetter came down one day. It was fun, man. We grilled up some steaks here and had a few beers, and then just sat down, and he had some ideas, some things that he wanted to write, and we knocked a couple songs out really pretty quickly that I feel pretty confident are going to be on his next project. Of course, Richard Lynch and I wrote a song last year that has been doing really, really well for him. His Hurtin' Feet and Lion country song.
All right.
I don't know if you heard that one, but that actually hit #1 on the iTunes country charts in South Africa, if you can believe that, and has been topping a bunch of charts as well. So as a songwriter, that's always a lot of fun, and I love I love the indie country community. So any chance to write with any of these fellas and just hang out and visit with them and have some fun, that's what it's all about, man.
So you talk about being there for 17 years in the Nashville area, armed with the knowledge that you have now. If you could push rewind and go back to when you first arrived in Nashville and embarked upon this journey, is there anything that you would do differently?
The only thing I do differently is choose where I bought a house better. That's really all. I mean, as far as how I did things and the trajectory that we took, the neat thing about Nashville is everybody's journey in Nashville is different.
Right.
There's so many different ways to find what you're looking for musically. And so, to accidentally have the Music Row show start to create that radio show, that was an accident. And then have it go on for 10 years and become a TV show, that was an accident. But what it did was it taught me so much by having those couple of hours with all the different people that create music and we're in the business of it. So, but a good friend of mine said this the other day. He was talking about his life. He owns a very successful business in Oregon. And he says, when I look at all of the critical moments in my life that led me here, not a single one of them were planned.
Right.
And I think that's a great concept. As you're young, you have all your plans in life, but man, if you just leave yourself open and be open to wherever the road, what other opportunities might turn up. You don't know what might happen for you. So musically, I wouldn't do anything different. I would just choose, the first place I lived, I won't say because I would hate to get a call from their Chamber of Commerce, but it was not a good place to try to raise a family. And so we had to do some pivoting and made some decisions that were good for our family, but bad for the pocketbook for a few years to get out of it.
Well, Scott Southworth, throughout his career, has cranked out memorable hit after memorable hit, and this is one that has always stood out to me as one of his finest. This is the title track from his Hey Hillbilly Singer album on Inside Farm Life.
Hey hillbilly singer, sing me a song about a cold-hearted woman done a good man wrong. Here's a 20 in the bucket, keep the sadness coming, I'll fill it up all night long. I need a beer-drinking girl, cheating, tear-weeping, broken-hearted country song. Most Friday nights I'd be that guy two-stepping across the floor. But since she said goodbye, don't feel like dancing anymore. Didn't see her leaving coming, man, she took me by surprise. They say misery loves company, I need me some tonight. Hey hillbilly singer, sing me a song about a cold-hearted woman done a good man wrong. Here's a 20 in the bucket, keep the sadness coming, I'll fill it up all night long. I need a beer-drinking girl, cheating, tear-weeping, broken-hearted country song. Yeah, I do. this neon hell. But I'm stuck on the lonesome highway Hank Williams knew so well. I understand the band must play a line dance now and then. But when you played Hank's, your cheating heart felt like a long-lost friend. Hey, hillbilly singer, sing me a song about a cold-hearted woman done a good man wrong. Here's a 20 in the bucket, keep the sadness coming, I'll fill it up all night long. I need a beer-drinking girl, cheating, tear-weeping, broken-hearted country song. I need a tear-weeping girl, cheating, beer-drinking, broken-hearted country song. Wow, wow, wow.
I know you've been working on some content projects here that you've been kicking around. What's next on the horizon for you there?
Well, next, of course, is this festival, and just I'll tell you that the concept of that, Brent, is me and some friends of mine were just saying, man, there's just as you know this, folks, large media corporations have taken over a lot of the festivals in the country, and it's just, man, there's just not as many places for the indie guys to play. So we just talked to some friends of mine, and we said, let's do this. And I'm going to be honest with you, it could be an absolute train wreck. We don't know what we're doing, but we got all these great artists that agreed to come do this experiment with us, and we're going to be playing country music all night long, and hopefully we're going to get people that want to come. It's only $20 a night for the tickets, and hopefully people are going to want to support it. So that's really the focus right now. Of course, gigs. I've doing some shows here and there. I'm playing a cowboy pig roast in Michigan at the end of September, the week after the festival, and working on a single that I hope to have released sometime in October, or if not, maybe January. That is going to be it's going to have several country singers from several different countries. The song it's something I wrote with Bill White, and it's called "Country No Matter What Country." And we got country singers from Ireland, from Norway, from France, from England. There's one more that New Zealand, and myself, and it's a cool little project. I can't wait to put that out.
That's a really neat idea.
Yeah, it'll be a single and a video. Good Lord willing, and we get it all done. So that's and then other than that, just planning, trying to get the European tours cooking again, starting next year.
Well, as we told you at the beginning of the segment, Scott has a new single out called Brown Liquor. And how else would we bookend a feature about a hillbilly singer than with a couple whiskey songs? Here's the latest project from Scott Southworth. This is Brown Liquor on Inside Farm Life.
Well, I like drinking brown liquor, moonshine gets me drunk quicker, red wine only make me sicker. Pour a little more of that Kentucky brown liquor. I take my neat in a glass, just all by itself. I drink to love and heartache, I drink to your health, and I wax philosophical, just like Aristotle. When God closes up a door, I open up a bottle. I like drinking brown liquor, moonshine gets me drunk quicker, red wine only makes me sicker. Pour a little more of that Kentucky brown liquor. Now some people call it bourbon, Carver calls it ski. I don't care what you call it, if you're pouring it for me. I drink it by the cupful, I drink it by the gallon. I'll be drinking till I'm thinking I'm a love-making stallion. I like drinking brown liquor, moonshine gets me drunk quicker, red wine only makes me sicker. Pour a little more of that Kentucky brown liquor, yeah. beer just gets me fatter. Vodka makes me mean. Tequila gets me naked, and that no one needs to see. Don't be a wild turkey and leave me just a trickle. God help the knob that come between me and my dickle. I like drinking brown liquor, moonshine gets me drunk quicker. Red wine only make me sicker. Pour a little more of that Kentucky brown liquor. Well, I like drinking brown liquor. It's so fine, it's fine as Kelly Pickler. Hey now, y'all, that's a near rhyme. Don't be such a stickler. Pour a little more of that Kentucky brown liquor. Say yeah. Say yeah. I said yeah. But I'm a beep a doodly dump beep deep bone. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-bone. Woo!
If people want to check out your music, follow the tour dates, and stay connected with everything you're doing, how can they do that?
ScottSouthworth.com is the website. Facebook is Scott Southworth Music, and Instagram and Twitter is Say Howdy Scott. So I'm not hard. Just Google Scott Southworth, and it's either a hillbilly singer or a lawyer in Wisconsin, and that ain't me.
The Wisconsin Dells, to be exact.
There you go.
So there you go. Well, I tell you what. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to go down a rabbit hole, but let's not do that. I was getting in trouble when I did that.
Well, that's exactly why I wanted you to continue. But since you want to,
what's on tap for you? What's on tap with the new endeavors here?
And we're just trying to grow, as I tell people every week, just trying to build the largest farm family on the planet, and do that through educational pieces, informational pieces, and entertainment here with this traditional country music. So a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, man. And you know what's amazing, and we've talked about this before, but it's before I started chasing the artist thing as an independent country artist, I didn't realize how many great indie acts there are out there right now, making this music and honoring the farmers and just the way of life that we hold on to here, within this type of music. And it's amazing the amount of artists that are doing so well and just creating great music. So
right, and that's what drives me here. I mean, we see this, we know that if there's a conduit for that music to get directly to rural America and let folks hear some of that stuff that's not getting airplay, then there's a tremendous opportunity for a lot of these artists, and that's what gets me out of bed every day.
That's it. The other thing that's getting me out of bed is I need to get back working on my little pop-up trailer because I can't wait to take it out probably next year. Get out there and start doing some touring at campsites all over the U.S. And I've never spent time in the Dakotas or the Badlands and any of that area, so I need to get over there, Iowa, and go play some music up there too.
All right. Well, I think that's a good strategy. Take it right to the people, and there's plenty of opportunities. This day and age, it seems like you got to be niche and figure out where to find those opportunities, and it may not come in big arenas or stadiums or what have you, but if you can catch people where they're at, they're willing to listen and support it, I believe.
Well, that's it. As an indie artist, it doesn't matter about the arenas. It's all about finding those people that want to hear your music one at a time, and that's what we do. We find one at a time. If I can make people smile and have a good time playing some music with them and get them to sing along and have some fun with me, that's all that's what I'm about, man. That's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely, man. Well, we'll keep beating that drum. And Scott, man, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on Inside Farm Life. We look forward to having you back in the future here to promote that new music or just to hang out and chat.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime.
And we want to thank you so much for joining us today and invite you to come back for future episodes. In the meantime, we invite you to subscribe to the Inside Farm Life podcast at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Deezer, Audible, Odyssey, and YouTube. And we want to say a special thank you to our friends at AGCO, the presenting sponsor of this week's show. AGCO will be the presenting sponsor of all Inside Farm Life shows in the month of August, and I hope you go and check them out at the end of this month at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, where many of their fine products will be on display. Again, you can find them online at agcocorp.com. We also want to say a special thank you to our additional sponsors, GoatLifeClothing.com, Concept Agritech, and Gateway Seed. Well, friends and neighbors, the clock on the wall tells us it's time to get on out of here. So for now, it's Brent Adams. Let's meet up here again next week, shall we? And hey, bring along a friend.
You've been listening to Inside Farm Life, a production of Farm Life Media. If you have topic suggestions for future episodes, drop us a line at brent@farmlifemedia.com. And be sure to check out our website, farmlifemedia.com.